Hey, what's going on out there? What's going on? What's going on? Come on in. Come on in. We're gonna have a quick discussion, man. Have some fun on a Friday night. Right quick. Two hot topics that's out there, man. We looking at these Falcons off season, man, and we know they're gonna have to make moves. So why not go bold and go hard? Like I always say, pause. But with all the news out there, you look at Kirk Cousins, man. Could we be looking at a $27.5 million backup? That's insane, right?
Woo, woo.
That's absolutely insane. And trade idea. Yeah, trade idea. And y'all know how I do, man. I just
Hey man,
come
we were
off the
talking
dome
about
with trade ideas. Like the other night, if y'all didn't go check out the other night show, man, Chris tried to stop me from jumping off the bridge, but I had to jump head first. Cause y'all know that's what I do. But if y'all missed the last live stream that we had, please go check it out, man. It was absolutely a blast.
it.
We had a
Mhm.
good time, man. And look, if you want crazy thoughts, crazy ideas, then hey, we
We
got you
got
covered.
him. Said we got him, man. Hey, also don't forget too, we will be doing another mock draft as far as like where we had the fans picking the draft. It was a lot of fun, man. The fans, they were very interactive in that show, so we were thinking about doing another one. And if you
Absolutely.
missed it, make sure you go back and check it out. It's on both of our channels, the mock draft 1.0 on my page, and I believe it might be 2.0 maybe on Smitty's. I know he did one of
Yeah,
his
it's
own.
2.0 on my page because I had
Yeah,
done one, so it'll be three for me and two for you.
right, right. So yeah. So yeah, man. So you check that out for sure, man. Let's get into it though.
Yeah, man. Trey, what's up, my dude? Yeah, Will Johnson, that's one of my top targets for the Atlanta Falcons. Trust me, if we can get him, I think it'll be a win-win. But we
Man,
got the devil herself in the house.
not the devil. The
The
devil.
devil herself. She probably sitting in the house with that bonnet on. Y'all know how she do it.
Oh
But
man, you already know.
she makes great t-shirts. She family, and we talk shit all the time because that's how we do around here. But
Right.
shout out to Joy Two Real, man. Y'all go check out on YouTube. And Blink and Stitch, she make t-shirts, jewelry, and all that good stuff. Very
Right.
talented. She
Mm-hmm.
and
With the
she
bonnet
did hook
on.
me on to the combine yesterday. She was watching the combine, and she was telling me about the Auburn linebacker running a 4.5, and he raised his stock just a little bit.
Hmm.
There's
Campbell
another
from
Auburn,
Alabama too.
right, right.
Mm.
So everybody they actually raising their stock. Larry, what's up, my guy?
How you feeling, family? Mike,
Mike,
what's
what's good,
happening? What's
man?
happening? What's happening? Happening. Let's see
Trey
how they
says, "How you feel about Grady? Go, guys." I
got.
say no.
Oh, about letting Grady go. Oh, okay, okay. Hey, man. At the end of the day, it's a business. I feel like, I honestly feel like the Falcons as an organization do not want to just cut Grady Jarrett. He's actually supposed to be meeting with the Falcons this weekend, as well too. So we'll see what happens. If there'll be a restructure going on, uh, I don't. I don't think extension, but so we'll see if a restructure goes on, and then also we'll see what the Falcons plan on going with it. Because I believe Grady doesn't want to go anywhere, and I believe the Falcons don't want him to go anywhere. I actually believe the Falcons do want some players to really be Falcons for life, and if there were any candidate to be that, it would be Grady Jarrett. It's just like, what's that cap number going to look like? So again, Grady Jarrett is supposed to be meeting with the Falcons this weekend. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I get it, man. It's 16 million. That's a little bit too steep for his production has how it has fallen off. And don't get me wrong, he still has a lot left in the tank, but 16 million, that's a lot, and it's going to take up a good bit of cap space. So yeah, it's good that they getting together. Good, they can probably work out a deal, and
Mhm.
I think they will. I think they can turn that into a roster bonus, and I think they can. Get it down probably to half of what 16 is, which is about 8 million in
Mhm.
cap space and save some money because they do get cap relief to start the season. But at the same time, we know the Falcons have a lot of holes on the defense, need to add depth in a lot of positions, mainly on the defensive line and linebacker. So, yeah, you got to save money any way you can. And it's good to see actually that they are getting together this weekend to work something out.
Yeah,
Joyce
man.
said, We will go in the draft and get a quarterback.
This ain't the draft for that. And the thing about it is so crazy. I'm glad we're back around this time now, because remember, this time last year, me, Smitty, and Berto, shout out to Mr. 95 North, we all were saying if there was a class to get a quarterback, it was this one. And then remember, Berto, even in a couple of our drafts, actually had the Falcons taking Michael Penix in the second round. But of course, he wouldn't have made it to the second round, as we know. And we ended up taking
Right.
him in the first round. But you see the quarterbacks that's coming out of this draft. Imagine having to come into this draft needing a quarterback more so than last year. I
Right.
think not. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Boy.
And so I'm saying total
Trey
drop
said
off.
he only mentioned for the cap hurt because to put us in. We
Yeah,
put
man.
ourselves in that. We put ourselves in that situation. Can't blame it all on Kirk. He just signed a contract that we decided to give him.
A contract that we all would have signed, by the way. Just keeping that real. We all would have signed that contract. 180 mil, sign me up. 4
Oh
years.
yeah, ain't
Let's do
nobody
it.
finna turn down no money.
Let's do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, 180 million, 100 guarantee. Oh yeah, 25 million. Oh yeah, and
Yeah,
he's already got 60. I think he's got 60 million already of the deal. So the other 40 would probably be this year, and I think it's 10 million next year. Then the last year is not fully guaranteed. It's not no guaranteed money. So but let's get into this Kirk Cousins thing right quick, man. Could we have a $27.5 million backup? I think it's very possible. Honestly, I think it's the only way they're going to save money. If they trade him or cut him, they will lose the money either way. So why not have him on as a backup? Even though he's come out publicly and tried to push for a trade, even though he didn't come out and say it. But let's keep it real, man. When you look at what he could bring to this team as a backup, we all know Michael Penix is going to go into his sophomore season, and we heard that sophomore slump before. But at the same time, you have a veteran behind him that can teach him the ropes, and if he sees something on the field, he can help him adjust during the game. Going through film breakdown during the game. So there's a lot of positive to it. But with Matthew Stafford now off the market, Kirk Cousins' names gets out there just a little bit more. And Chris was talking about it, man, before we jumped on. So I'll let you explain why Matthew Stafford signing helps Kirk Cousins and helps the Falcons possibly get off this contract.
Well, Matt Stafford, he was going to be the hottest commodity out there, seriously. And the Rams, they knew they couldn't let him get out of LA. He is their best chance of winning any games, getting back to the Super Bowl, anything like that. It's going to be through Matthew Stafford. And they realize that. Also, you think about it from Stafford's standpoint. Yeah, I want to get paid. I mean, look what I've done. Saying even going into the season with some teams or some people, analysts were thinking maybe the Rams don't do much.
Right.
The Rams have really, in my opinion, kind of overachieved through the draft, everything. That just credit to their scouting department, how they do things. And for Stafford, you don't want to just uproot your family out of LA, just getting there a couple of seasons and then having to go to a totally different spot. All that stuff plays into it for an NFL player as well. So,
FYI, he actually lives in Atlanta during the off season, so he's here. Yeah, so he's
so
used to moving coast to coast.
But how this helps, in the Falcons, because I mean, Kirk Cousins is still out there. He's still a quality backup. It's not a guarantee Tennessee is going to take a quarterback. You don't know what the Browns may do. They may take a quarterback, but even if you take the Browns out of the situation, you still have the Raiders, you still have the Giants, you still have the Jets. I mean, this is not a deep quarterback class. So it's either they're going to settle for one of these guys, not name Cam Ward or Shadur Sanders, or they're going to have to go look at a quarterback, including Aaron Rodgers, including Sam Darnold, who I believe is going to stay with the Vikings ultimately. But, I mean, Sam Darnold is still out there. The Raiders need a quarterback again. You can make an argument about a few other teams, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, for example, what is Seattle going to do with Geno Smith, so they're still going to roll with him. So, you have question marks. And as long as there's a need for quarterback, there's still the smallest chance that the Atlanta Falcons could get off of Kirk Cousins instead of having him the most expensive backup in pretty much in NFL history. Like guys are saying, and that's a real quick thing too. Guys are saying that this makes sense for the Falcons, or guys are saying that that they would have the best backup in the league. Why are you saying those things? There's no guarantee that Kirk Cousins would be the best backup in the league. The only guarantee is he would be the most expensive. That's all. So we
Absolutely.
can kill that noise. Seriously.
Yeah, and there really ain't no way around it. I think someone in the chat said we'll save 27 million. We cut him post June 1st.
Yeah, if he's a post of June 1st, first of all, we run out of time to do that too, by the way. But if he's designated as
the first tomorrow, so
cut, yeah,
we only have about 10 days left.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if we designate him for that, we will save on having to pay that 10 million. You know what I'm saying? So really it will be the 27 plus the 10 million if you keep him on the roster. But if you go ahead and designate him that post June 1st cut, you can save that 10 million. You know, you won't have to pay it. You're still on the hook for that 27 regardless, but at least you wouldn't have to give him that extra 10 million.
Yeah, it's more like 13 with incentives if it's 40 million. So, well, 12 and a half because it's 27.5 if you cut him June 1st. So the other 12 and a half will be absorbed in incentives, which he won't get. And I think he missed a little bit of money last year because he missed the percentage of snaps that he would have had to play. So we did save money in that aspect. But one thing about I'm thinking with the Jets really want to invest in another veteran quarterback, how Aaron Rodgers situation played out. And the crazy thing is he came off an Achilles injury too.
Just
and
like Kirk.
I've been thinking for the last couple of days, I feel like somebody's going to take a risk in the top 10 to move up the board, and Jackson Dart name is going to slide into that top 10 because they're going to reach for a quarterback.
Hey,
and
possibility, you never know.
And with 27.5 million, that's an entire 4 years for a rookie quarterback instead of signing a veteran guy. So I think honestly, it's just no way that anybody is gonna try to spend $27.5 million unless they know that they can get, a little bit more out of Kirk Cousins. Like you said, Pittsburgh is another team. They may bring back Justin Fields, who knows? And if y'all didn't know, please check out Chris' video on Justin Fields and why he fits with the Falcons. But I just don't see a situation where any team, and you got to think too with the media publicity that Kirk Cousins is getting, the positive and the negative, that's got to factor in too. Because as I told y'all, I don't know if I would want a Kirk Cousins in my locker room after how he's thrown the Falcons under the bus when he got here. He threw the Falcons under the bus when he just, in so many words, demanded a trade. It's just, I just don't see a team taking a chance on it. But, I could be wrong.
Right.
I also saw an article with Miami, seeing him going to Miami, backing up Tua Tagovailoa, especially with his concussion history. So, I mean, it's just so many ways you can look at it. But at the end of the day, honestly, I just think the Falcons will have a $27.5 million backup because the only quarterback that I see veteran-wise that I would bring in is probably Jameis Winston. And a lot of y'all don't like that because y'all thinking about what happened with the New Orleans Saints situation. And I don't care about that no more because it's just the game. Arthur Smith should have kept coaching. So in that aspect, I don't care about that no more. But we have to have a veteran backup. But Joyce says she would not want to see Justin Fields here.
Hey, man. The thing about it is, now I understand all the question marks with Justin, but at the end of the day, I just need me a backup. I don't think Jacoby Brissett, honestly, is the number one backup in my mind. Just because he's played the position, he knows what to do.
And he's affordable.
Right, and he's affordable. I just don't think that, that he's going to be out there on the market long. I think, since somebody will give him more money than the Falcons would give him. And, since that would be that. Now, I've been hearing Jameis Winston. I've been getting mixed reviews on that as well. So it's just, regardless, it's going to be mixed reviews on whatever quarterback it is. All I need is somebody to back up Michael Penix because nobody that I bring in is going to be competing for his job. So regardless, even Justin Fields, Regardless, Jameis Winston, Jacoby Brissett, all y'all, if y'all come in here, y'all are the backup, and that's it. There will be no quarterback competition. And Kirk knows that too. Another reason why he doesn't want to be here.
Right.
There's no way in the world that Kirk Cousins will be competing against Michael Penix. You are the backup. You are the clipboard. You are the tablet. So all that stuff. So Kirk still wants to be the starter. He still wants to be calling the shots. And I believe the Atlanta Falcons do not really want to keep him as the backup, but it's one of those things where you kind of have to kind of like, save face and kind of probe a little bit like, yeah, we're prepared to keep him, but
Right.
really behind the scenes, you really want to get rid of him, y'all. And it's hard, man. It's just hard. It's hard.
Our
man.
boy Zay said,
What a
Teddy
dude,
Bridgewater.
he did
Man,
come back, didn't he?
that would be a nice pickup, but I think he's going to stay in Detroit. And also, the way he retired, he may do it again. Who knows? But he's been in the league 10 years already and don't even seem that long. Well, no, he missed last year basically. So it kind of verts back to a year, but he got drafted way back in 2014. So this is year 12. So he's been around a while. He's in his early 30s. So that would be a nice pickup, man. I could definitely see that. But who else is out there? Ryan Tannehill, I think he's going to eventually retire. Go ahead.
Jones. No, I was just thinking. I think Mac Jones could be another
Jones,
option.
absolutely.
Think about that.
Well, I put it up right quick, man. We got a little time. But Mac Jones, that would be probably a cheap contract. Yeah, that would probably be a cheap contract.
Yeah, so it's definitely other guys. You think this. You also think about Carson Wentz. I know that doesn't sound sexy, but I'm thinking about pocket passers because I gotta think about that with the.
And that's crazy. Every quarterback in that draft, with Mac Jones went in, every one of those quarterbacks are a free agent. That is just absolutely absurd.
It just lets you know. Honestly, I think it's going to be similar with the Kenny Pickett thing in a minute because what ain't that draft? I think the one where Kenny Pickett went 25th. I think all those guys just about are free agents. What you got, Kenny Pickett, he with the Eagles now, and then you have as a backup. Then you got Desmond Ridder, who's going to be on the free agent market. It's just, what I'm saying, like these guys are getting off the board. And so it's just like, and then with Teddy Bridgewater, I like Teddy a lot. My concern would be about his injury history. And if he takes a hit, like a real hit, is he going to get another concussion? Like, I mean, what's going to be with it? Like, it's just a reality. I'm about to say we got two Smitties on the screen, y'all. Double the Smitty, double the fun.
Hey, my bad, man. StreamYard again.
Hey,
you know how they do.
Hey,
but Matt Jones.
Thank y'all for the likes. Come on in. Yeah, man. We having a conversation right now talking about Kirk Cousins and are the Falcons stuck with Kirk Cousins? And y'all make sure y'all stay around. Hey, man, y'all chill out, man. Y'all chill out.
Hey, man, look. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Smitty got a twin brother.
Hey.
I'm about to say you like Mario and Wario.
Hey, look, if it was two of me, the world be in trouble. I'm telling you. Because
so with all the hot wing spots, I tell you that too.
Boy, they wouldn't have no wings. They would probably kick us out. They would probably ban us from the restaurant. But let's look at these quarterbacks right quick, man. I'm pulling it up again. I don't know what happened. StreamYard, like I said, but y'all know how they do.
StreamYard.
Yeah, they be bullshitting. Okay, so I got it pulled up.
Will Johnson. Man,
that's a great question. That is a great question, and we can answer that right quick. And I'll let Chris start while I'm putting up the quarterbacks. So
I mean,
which one would you take, Chris? Because I know it's tough, but I know which
it's
way I
tough
would go.
because we need both positions. But if I just had to take one out of the two guys, I'm more so probably going to go Mike Green. Why? Because we need somebody to get after the quarterback. Mike Green, one thing that I like about him is when I look at his tape, you notice he has more than one pass rush move. And that is big to me because you don't have to teach him a
Yeah,
lot.
he's polished.
Anything, yeah, if
Yeah.
anything, you just hone his skills. I mean, if he wants to learn another move or two, that's on him. But him having the strong hands, him being very bendy as a to get around the corner, and he's him to be strong too. I know he did the bench press. I believe he had 28 on the bench press. So that 225. So I mean, he's a strong guy as well. Hey, I don't have anything bad to say about the guy. Yes, please, y'all hit those likes. Thank you, Auntie Joy. Thank you. But yeah, man. So it just with Mike Green, that's where I'm going to go. I know Will Johnson, great corner. You know what I'm saying, big guy. As I know, kind of fits more into like zone, more so than man. But I know you still got to have those guys who are willing to play man. But I'm still going to go Mike Green, man. That's for me, Mike Green.
And I'm gonna go totally opposite of that. I'm gonna go Will Johnson. And hear me out. I know we need edge rushers, but
Mm-hmm.
when I look at playmakers at the cornerback position,
Mm-hmm.
what if you have AJ on one side, you bring in another playmaker, Will Johnson, for 4 more years as well? That right there helps your pass rush, helps your linebackers, helps your front seven, period. By shutting down the top two receivers, then you have a slot corner in Clark Phillips or D Alford that can shut down the slot as well. Now you have a strong defensive back core with Jesse Bates on the back end and whomever else is on the other side. And hell, Justin Simmons may resign for cheaper money than he did last year. So that's yet to be seen. But I think Will Johnson's playmaking ability is second to none. And really, to
Mm-hmm.
have two cornerbacks that you can depend on is something that just don't happen in the NFL too often. So
Right.
if you have these two cornerbacks, these two top-notch cornerbacks, I think that helps the pass rush along. You got to remember, Braden Trice coming back, so this is really his rookie year. So
Of
that's
course.
one edge rusher that you do have back.
Shoot, all our
Matthew
guys on the
Judon.
defensive
If you
end.
Matthew Judon, if you get him for the right price, if you get Matthew Judon for the right price, he could come back. And if don't say that he didn't do nothing last year. Think about it. When they switched up the scheme halfway through the season and they went on that 4 game run where they were getting sacks before they turned it back over to Jimmy
He was
Lake,
getting a little bit more
Matthew
pressure.
Judon looked like a totally different person. Jimmy, right. So if you bring back a veteran in Judon, get Trice back, you have Arnold Ebiketie, um, and you have what's the other kid's name? Zach Harrison.
Zach Harris.
You still have a solid pass rush, and pass rushes are deep in this draft. Y'all saw that on our second
Mm-hmm.
mock draft that we did. That edge rush is pretty deep in this draft. So you can go get a solid rookie in the second round, or you can trade back in the second round, pick up another pick, and you can still have a solid pass rusher by the fourth or fifth round. So
Or
edge rush
you
is
could just
pretty deep in this
bypass
draft,
all that.
and don't
No, I was saying, no, I mean, same thing like you're saying about edge
right,
rushers. You got to say the
right,
same thing about corners, man. It's some guys that right now they're in the combine, they are raising their stock. Okay, like guys like Maxwell Harrison, guys like Jabbar Muhammad out of Oregon. I can keep going. Trey Amos. So it's just like the
right.
same thing that you're saying about saying these guys. Like
And
I
that's
would
one of
still
my
go
sleepers in
after.
the draft.
Right, man. I would still go after edge rusher in the first round, and you can still find some guys in the second round. Even with the safety help, it's some guys that are doing crazy numbers as safeties. Malachi Starks, you could go there. His comparison is Jesse Bates. You never know what we
Right.
may do with Jesse Bates if we draft Starks. You may never know. We may roll off from Jesse and roll right in with Starks. You never know. Also, it's another kid out there, man. I think his number was number 40, Nick Emanru or something like that. Like, all I know is that's a guy's a physical specimen,
Yeah,
crazy
South
beast and
Carolina.
tearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, and he was also turning heads in the combine today as well. So it's a few guys, man. It's deep on the defensive end. Many different ways you can go. I feel like Will Johnson is a good draft pick as well. That's another reason why I was kind of struggling when I was talking about Mike Green, because I do see the upside of having Will Johnson. But that pass rush, I feel like honestly, at this point, bro, we got to make the pass rush our strength until it just really is our strength. We, like even with these guys, coming in with these rookie seasons, these guys are going to have rookie seasons coming in this year from last year. The Dorleses, the Ruka Roro, the Braylon
Right.
Trice, all those guys are going to be in their rookie season pretty much. And then you think about it too, even our humble quarterback Michael Penix, who was only in a 3-game span, it would be technically his rookie season as a full-time starter. So it's just, hey
Basically.
man, yeah, man.
Basically.
So it's just like it's a few guys. Yeah, man. It's a few guys. Were
But
you able
Tony
to
Wright
get
had a quick
the
question, man. He says, what
what do you got?
oh yeah, quarterbacks. I'm sorry. Let's get into the quarterbacks right quick, man. I'm sorry. So these are the quarterbacks that are available, free agent wise, and we talk about backups. Sam Darnold, like you said, I think he returns to Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Wilson,
No,
former top 3 pick. Trey Lance,
no,
we talked about that draft.
no.
Jacoby Brissett is your guy. $8 million. That's pretty cheap for a backup. Taylor Heineke, no. I think he's about done. Marcus Mariota, hell no. Drew Lock, no. I had high hopes of Drew Lock coming out of Missouri, but he disappointed the hell out of me. Um, Jared Stidham, no. Justin Fields, possibly. Joe Flacco, 40 years old, no. Jameis Winston, who's my pick. Mac Jones, I could actually see Mac Jones. He knows the West Coast offense pretty well. Carson Wentz, a veteran
Carson
in the
Wentz too.
league, solid backup. Jimmy Garoppolo, who also knows the West Coast offense from San Francisco and Oakland. So he could be an option, but what would his value be? And let's look at it right quick. His value, his market value, I think it should tell you on here how much his market value should be. He signed a 3-year, $72 million contract. Didn't live up to that. Last year, only $1 million base salary, cap hit $3 million with the Rams last year. So yeah, you can afford that. And Jimmy G probably would be a decent backup. And his market value would be $3 million. So
Whew,
I'm
that's
doing that
rough.
every day, twice on Sunday.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah,
Because
so
like I said,
backup quarterback, there are options out there, and there are veterans. Right.
right, and that's
So
another
I
reason why
mean,
the
look,
Rams had to
there are
resign.
options out there. Mitch
They're not going
Trubisky,
with
no,
Jimmy. They're not going with Jimmy.
nope. Mason Rudolph, he was solid in Tennessee last year. Cooper Rush took over for Dak Prescott, very solid backup. I mean, there are options out there, and we don't have to have a big name since we have a starter in place. We just need somebody to come in and back up, teach the young guy some game, and if he needs to step in for a game or two to give Penix some rest, that's all we need. But Tony Wright had a quick question. If we don't trade back, I think we should trade back. Michigan cornerback Will Johnson is there at pick 15, and we draft him as a plug play starter opposite AJ Terrell. Yeah, we talked a little bit on that. I would definitely go Will Johnson because I'm looking long term. If you go out and sign another veteran outside of Matthew Judon, if you bring him back, you still have, like I said, Trice coming in. You still have Zach Harrison. You still really have Caden Ellis, who they were playing at the middle, but he's really an outside linebacker. So you have options as edge rushers. And I think, honestly, we need more depth at the defensive tackle position because we're losing Kentavious Street. We're losing Taquan Graham. We're losing Eddie Goldman. So you need that size up front. And we really have been struggling with finding guys that can eat space since after the rush left. So
It's true.
I just think we just have a hole in the middle of the defense.
And that's
Miss
if
Pam said
Dallas
she
moves
loved
on.
Cooper Rush.
And that's if Dallas decides to move on from him. I mean, He did start, so I mean that's a dark horse as well to end up getting a contract. From that when Dak went down and Cooper had to take over, pretty much in that against us, in that Falcon game. You would think that possibly he may be a
Right.
dark horse to get a starting job on one of these other teams as well. So that's something to think about when it comes to these quarterbacks. A lot of dominoes still have to fall, and unfortunately, the Falcons are trapped between a rock and a hard place with this Kirk Cousins thing, because it's still other quarterbacks that other teams could go snatch up or could just take the
Right.
risk on just because they don't want to take on that contract.
Absolutely. Here's an interesting name. Nephew said Tyrod Taylor. That would be a solid backup. And the thing about Tyrod Taylor, his game is similar to Michael Penix, so he can adjust. He can adapt to what Penix goes through. He's been around for a good little while. If y'all remember Tyrod Taylor, out of Virginia Tech, and another thing about him as well, he lives in Atlanta in the off season as well. But Tyrod Taylor would not be a bad idea. He's been a solid backup for a very long time, and he's a scrambler. And I think it makes sense, nephew. I could see that. Kevin O'Connor said he would go with Carson Wentz. Jahad Campbell said Jahad Campbell. That's a name that I think is going to rise up draft boards when they get closer to draft day.
Yeah.
I think he's going to slip into the 20 range. I could see him in Pittsburgh. I could see him in Baltimore.
Bro, I can see him in Atlanta. What you mean? Like seriously, because this kid right here, man, he is a worker, man. And we need somebody who is a worker, somebody who's working on his craft. He was doing extra drills. When everybody left, he was still staying there doing extra drills. That's a guy that you want, man. Somebody who is a workaholic. And if a guy like Jalen Walker is gone before he gets to you, then you could still trade back and still possibly get him. So it's some guys, man. There's some dudes coming out of this draft, man. Like this combine is really shining the light on some guys. And I'm telling you, y'all, like honestly, you can trade back. You don't have to necessarily trade up. You really can trade back and get some really great value in this draft, guys. Seriously. Yes, Mac, yes.
Kiera, I actually had I had Maxwell Harrison in my first mock draft. That kid out of Kentucky, he's a playmaker as well. I think he ends up in the bottom of the first round. I had him, I think second, or I think I actually got him in the second round. So I think he's raised his stock all the way up to the first round, at least the bottom of the first. Because I feel like those teams at the bottom of the first, even the Baltimore Ravens, they definitely need help at corner. Go ahead.
No, I was saying no. He's definitely a first round talent. Now after that speed, he ran a 4.28. So that speed alone is going to get him into the first round.
Oh, yeah.
I remember him anyway, just when Georgia played the Kentucky, and he had 4 tackles in that game, played some really good coverage against the Dogs. So I'm already familiar with the kid anyway. It's just today he just had a very good day. It wasn't just the 40, okay? It was the drills as well, being able to change direction, fluid hips. And, so if anybody knows me, DB is like my favorite position on the field. So I had to like tune in to see what the DBs and the safeties are going to do. It's it's a lot of guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna look at that a little later.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's worth a watch, man. Looking at those corners and safeties, there are some guys.
Yeah, James Pierce. I hate to say this, Keith. But I think Pierce ends up in New Orleans. I think he's going to be Cam Jordan's replacement. Seeing him run that 4.4 and to know that he's one of the most polished rushers in this draft, I think he goes top 8. And crazy thing is, I said it, and it may be true and it may not. If he's there after 10, I can see the Falcons trade up to go get him. So I mean, it's 2 to 3 players in this draft in the first round that I would love the Falcons to move up if they have to go get him. One is Jalen Walker. He kills 2 birds with 1 stone. He's an edge rusher. He's a middle linebacker. You have James Pierce, one of the most polished edge rushers in this draft. and Mason Graham, which I don't think he will. I think Mason Graham at defensive tackle, I think he would come in right away, help Grady out, help this defensive line out, and Will Johnson at cornerback. So there are players in this draft in this first round that I think the Falcons should ponder moving up if they have to go get one now. But nephew, I wouldn't trust Kirk Cousins with my wings at all. He couldn't even put hot sauce on. Miss Pam Landon Jackson, I think he's a bit raw. I think he needs a little bit of developing. But if he's there, maybe in the second round, I would think about it. Or if they can pick up a third or a fourth, and he's there, I would think about it then. But as far as the first round, I can't see Landon Jackson going that high. Yeah, Porter is one of my guys, Nathan. We talked about Porter on the mock draft. Y'all can go check that out. Porter is going to be
Right.
a sleeper in this draft. He's 6'2", about 195. And we talk about the size with these receivers in the NFC South. If the Falcons do go cornerback, you have one in Will Johnson, one in Darian Porter, one in Harrison. I think is a great pair.
Right. I definitely feel, yeah, man. Porter, I think is that's the I believe Porter is the corner that also was playing wide receiver. I think that's the same guy.
Yeah, yeah, Darian Porter, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
He has a wide receiver background. And I know in that drill to where so you have to turn around, like catch the ball and then run the straight line and catch the ball. He was flying through that thing. And I don't know if it's just because of the wide receiver background or if he just knows how to follow instructions correctly. But that man was flying through that thing. And I believe, slowly he's rising his draft stock as well. It's another kid. I think his name was Rawdim. Man, I hate that I don't have his name right in front of me right now. But at the same, like he was another kid, saying that raised his stock as well. I'm telling you guys, from what I've seen today, it's going to be some corners that were probably day 3 guys that moved to day 2 and day 2s to day 1. I'm
Yep.
telling you,
It's like that every year. It's like that every year. But
it's
Mike, you
wonderful.
can always move up. I mean, we have what 5 picks, and we don't resign Judon. That's a compensatory pick.
Mhm,
But y'all got to understand, man. I say this all the time, and I just want y'all to understand and just hear me.
mhm.
Any draft pick from pick 1 all the way to pick 253 is a 50-50 shot that they're gonna make, and a 50-50 shot that they're gonna be a bust. So
Yes.
why not go out and get a proven talent, or go up the board and shoot your shot and go get one of the guys that you think is going to pan out in the NFL that's going to be a complete talent? Why not go out and trade those first round picks? We see people do it all the time, and guess what? They get a superstar in return sometimes. So you got if you don't know if you don't take the shot. So sometimes you just got to have guts. You got to have hair on your chest to go do it, and I think it's time for the Falcons to do it. And if y'all watch the video that we did the other day, last week, about the Falcons making a game changing move, it's just that time. We have pretty much the game changer we need on offense. Now it's time to focus on the other side of the ball. Go get that one player that you feel like can come in and help this defense right away. Because like I said, we all know we missed out on guys like Michael Parsons, Jalen Carter, and Jordan Davis. So now you missed out on those guys. It's time to right that wrong. So I mean, look,
And
it's just time.
and Smitty, I still feel like the way to right that wrong is to not do something that drastic. I still feel like you have to build around those same weapons that you're talking about. And in order
Right,
to do that, you'll need rookie contracts to help alter that salary cap that we're up against. Yes, restructures, yes, cuts, but also rookie contracts help as well. You get some of these dudes that's out of this draft by trading back, possibly. Even if you trade back into the 20s, that's still significant picks. You're going to at least get a extra 2 picks just by moving from 15 to in the 20s, most
right.
likely. So you
Right,
can
because you
put
see what we did in the mock draft. We moved back
right
to the end of the first round with Kansas City.
and
We
got
got
like
two
three,
third
four
rounds.
picks.
Right.
I'm saying so. It's just
And
like
picks the following year. So
right.
I mean, it's ways.
It's ways
But
to do it, and I just believe you had some swing and misses. This whole Kurt thing was definitely a swing and a miss from a financial standpoint. You paid for 7 wins. I mean, that's pretty much what you paid for. That's what you got. I mean, you paid for more, but that's what you end up getting. So now you got to look at it like, okay, I don't think the time now, if we never paid Kirk and never had to worry about that, and that money went in other places, maybe it would be the time to try to move up and go snatch a guy, who could be a game changer. I just don't feel like we are one player away. We're
Yeah,
not even two players away. We're not
agreed.
even three players away. So let's not trade away the farm and do a Mike Ditka move, and mess around and be messed up for years to come. Because if you trade up, let's just be honest, for how salary cap is set up and just, from different variables or just the NFL game, bro, we would be trapped all the way into about 2029, 2030 before we
Yeah,
able to really right the ship. And by that time, it's going to be time to head on paid Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Michael Penix will be coming up. It's just, I don't want to do that to ourselves.
and crazy thing is, out of the guys you named, one ain't gonna make the cut.
I'm saying.
But Keith, Zach Klein is the WSB TV Channel 2 lead reporter. Yeah, he's been at the combine and he has been putting out reports. Actually, like we said, Grady Jaire is going to talk to the Falcons this weekend, and we'll see absolutely how that goes. Hope that pans out well because honestly, he is one of the top Falcons on the team. But like I said, $16 million, you got to make business decisions. If they can cut that number in half and he gets to stay, I would absolutely love it. Especially if they're going to bring in a rookie at defensive tackle, such as a Deion Walker, such as TJ Saunders, just somebody at defensive tackle that he can take up under his wing. He can help develop them and just help this team because we need a big body in the middle and, But cornerback, man, you got anything else to say about that before we move on to Jaire Alexander?
Shoot, man, I was just about to say, really, this whole cornerback thing is really segueing right into it, honestly. I mean, shout out to Billy Bowman, too. Yeah, I seen him Jaded Night as well. Yeah, that was another guy that slipped my mind. That's just how many guys are raising their stock. That's just how many guys were fluent in the drills, good 40 times and everything. So it was a lot of guys, man, today. I'm telling you. Yep, Miss Pound, trade back, get more picks. We got to build this team around Michael Penix Jr., y'all. We got to build it around him. We're not one or two pieces away. We're
No,
just not.
we blew that chance last year with that losing streak. I feel like if we end the season winning the NFC South, it gives us a lot of momentum going into 2026. I'm sorry, 2025. But since Kirk Cousins kind of set us back a little bit last year, I think it's going to be a little bit tougher going into 2025. But don't get me wrong, they can still bring in 2 to 3 pieces, and we can still have a team that could compete for the division, that could make a playoff run. And it really depends on what Michael Penix's sophomore season looks like. Like Chris said, this could be like a rookie season to him, even though he developed just a little bit his first year, and he got to play on the back end of the schedule. I think that helped a lot. But yeah, I mean, it's just so much to be undesired because how he's been preparing in the film room will also determine how he goes into year 2. But we talked about cornerbacks.
Yes, sir.
Jaire Alexander, a guy that one guy named Jerry Gray knows pretty well. And if you watched him in Green Bay, you know his best seasons were up under Jerry Gray. And the Packers are likely to cut or trade him. And Atlanta, to me, I feel like they should pick up the phone because if I'm looking at what I have on the other side with Mike Hughes being a free agent, if I look at D Offer, the restricted free agent, Antonio Hamilton, I can just keep going and going.
Free agent.
We have a lot of free agents in that secondary. Yep. So the cornerback position, now don't get me wrong, I know what his salary cap looks like, but if you make a trade, I think Green Bay would take on some of that salary just to get him off the books. Same thing I said about Kirk Cousins, I can say about Jaire Alexander when they're trying to get him off the roster because Green Bay, they're in a bit of a rebuild on that in that secondary. So Jaire Alexander, He's
Hey,
one of the, he was at one point he was one of the top 5 corner in the league. Now I know he had arthroscopic knee surgery last year, and
mm-hmm.
he suffered a good bit of injuries the last 3 years. He's only played in I think 14 games the last 2 years, and
Yeah, he battled some injuries for
at
sure.
one point he missed like 13 straight. So I get that, but at 100%, Jaire Alexander next to a AJ Terrell, and
Yes,
with Jesse Bates behind both of those guys, this helps the pass rush, and this is what we were talking about with the cornerback position. I
right.
think his go ahead. I'll let you
Oh no, I was
go
just
take it.
going to just add to what you were saying about Jaire, and again, Jerry Gray coaching him up again, having some of the best years he did have when Jerry Gray was with the team. Had a career high in interceptions under Jerry Gray. I mean, of course, you think about the injuries, but you just think about 22, 21, and 20. I mean, he played a bunch of snaps, well, except for 2021, of course,
Right.
COVID-19 and everything like that. But he played a lot of snaps. He had nice a bit of tackles, and like I said, in 2022, the final year of Jerry Gray being with Green Bay, he had 5 interceptions, which is a career high for him. He had a career year, and honestly, it was one another thing that helped get him paid. He just turned 28 back on February 9th of this year, and honestly, he's not an old guy. 7 years in the league. We've had a lot of band-aids over there next to AJ Terrell. Jaire Alexander is not Jeff Okuda. Jaire Alexander is honestly better than the band-aids we've had over there. Let's just keep it real.
Absolutely.
Including Mike Hughes. So and then to make things better for Jaire, he would be coming over from a cornerback 1 position, coming over to the Falcons and being a cornerback 2 position. So he wouldn't always have to see the number 1 receiver, which may actually help him, long term when it comes to health. Jaire Alexander is feisty. He is a cornerback who, doesn't mind people coming after him. And I'm telling you, Jaire, if you come to Atlanta, all that attention that you want people to throw at you and everything, I promise you'll get it here, because AJ Terrell will be on the other side, and you will have that cornerback spot locked up, helping the pass rush, like you were saying too, Smitty.
Right. And you got to look at it in that aspect because honestly, if you want to beat me to be 200% with you,
Mm-hmm.
AJ needs to help because we saw when AJ had help and he finally got that safety behind him that could help him over the top. You saw how good AJ can be, and I feel like with a Jaire Alexander and with that second cornerback, that's going to help that safety on the other side because honestly, we don't know what's going to happen with that other safety spot. And I think it was Jaden that asked, would you bring Simmons back?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the way he played last year, they could probably get him on a cheaper deal. And if they could do that, oh yeah, I would bring him back. And with Jaire Alexander, as I said, I think they could trade that 4th-round pick for Jaire Alexander just to get him off the books. And honestly, I would take Jaire Alexander over a 4th round any day at 28 years old. He
Right.
still got about 4 to 5 years left with tread on his tires. So
And
I
real
would
quick to our
go
to
ahead,
our
go ahead.
to our follower Nathan Floyd too. No, AJ makes more than Jaire at this point of his contract.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Jaire is 16 mil next year, 18 mil the following year. So you would still have him for 25 and 26. He will be an unrestricted free agent in 2027, which he'll be 30 years old at that particular time.
And think about it at that point, 30 years old, depending on what he does the last 2 years, you could probably get him at a cheaper price than what he is right now. So
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
win-win to me.
yeah.
It's a
And
win-win.
again, it's a grain of salt because Jaire Alexander, we're tying in the reunion of bringing him back with Jerry Gray, somebody that knows Jaire, somebody that got the best out of Jaire when he was around in Green Bay. That's why this is so appealing, because you possibly could bring him back up to that top level. And again, not necessarily having to go against the ones, but also have AJ, somebody on the other side for AJ, that AJ's like, okay, let me lock into this guy because I know what that guy on the other end going to do. Jesse Bates still behind you. Not sure if you're going to bring Simmons back, but even if you don't, You still have options. I mean, DeMarco Hellams. You possibly could also draft a safety. Again, I've already mentioned Malachi Starks. I've already mentioned Nick Imearu and everything. So it's a few guys, and it's even more guys than that too. So it's just to name a few. We could just go in the draft, free agency. I want to just bring up just a few names that were that's free agents as far as cornerbacks. If you guys don't like Jaire Alexander, let's talk about some real free agents like a Tre'Davious Ward or even a Byron Murphy. You know,
I would
also
love Byron Murphy. Byron Murphy
right.
was aggressive. I would
That's
love
what I'm
Byron
saying.
Murphy in
And
Atlanta.
somebody else who I believe, you know, you got Mike Hughes out there again. You could bring him back if you wanted to, but that's not really my ideal thing. Christian Fulton, somebody who was with the Chargers, who has been up and
Former
down.
first round pick. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's still, you know what I'm saying, and he's only like 26. Then you got Jordan Lewis, former Cowboy. He's 29, but he had a great year last year. You possibly could bring him back. Jeff Albrecht.
Good night, Miss Joy. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for
Night, Miss
supporting us.
Joy. In
We
a minute.
appreciate
In a
you.
minute. Yes. You got Isaiah Oliver. I don't want him, but I know I only mention him for the familiarity because he has been a Falcon, and Jeff Albrecht, you know, worked with him as well.
Right.
But a guy that's a sleeper for me, who I would love in Atlanta, is Asante Samuel Jr. He's only 25. He's had some injuries, yes, but I believe that's another guy who's still feisty, just like his dad. He doesn't have, of course, the same impact, but of course, injuries have derailed him. He was only 1.8 million last year. You can bring him in on a cheap prove it deal. Some people may call it another band-aid, maybe, but at the same time, you don't know unless you're taking the chance on the pedigree, on pretty much the name. And he is a good corner, you know. So when you look at his tape, remember when he came out, he was a high-rated corner. So
right.
It's a lot of different options at corner we can go. It doesn't have to be just Jaire. It's just Jaire. We're assuming that he can possibly get rejuvenated coming to the Falcons, being with Jerry Gray having his hand on him again. But it is some corners out there in free agency and in the draft, guys. It is.
Hey Trey, I've been pulling up your comments all night, man. Chill out. He said,
Trey he been here since 2021. Smitty, what's going on?
He said Simmons had coming off an injury. That's true, man. But you know, I feel like they didn't use Justin Simmons correctly. Justin Simmons and Jesse Bates are two in the same. Both of those guys are corner safeties, cover safeties. They're cover safeties. And I feel like the Falcons need a box safety in that position. Now, if you want to play Justin Simmons in the slot a little bit more, I could see that. But when it comes to being a box safety, that's just in the Justin Simmons style. He's a cover guy. And that hurt us in the run game a little bit last year. Yes, he's a veteran and he's been around for a while, but outside of that Kansas City game, what did he do? And that's only because he was familiar with Patrick Mahomes. So Justin Simmons, I would love for him to come back. I think his contract was $7 million last year, and the way they broke it down, they paid him $4 million last year, and he's going to make $3 million this year in dead cap space. So I just think at the right price, I would bring him back, but I honestly don't know. It's a toss up. Just put it like that. It's a toss up.
Right.
Yeah, I would like DJ Reed as well. Jeff Albrecht coached him in New York. Another guy, Jamie Sherwood, the linebacker. I could see him in Atlanta. So I mean, there are guys out there that with ties to these coaches, Jaire Alexander, Jamie Sherwood, and it's a defensive tackle with the Rams that's a free agent. They could bring in as well. That coach that played up under Raheem Morris. So you will see, and the reason why we're talking about this mainly is because Raheem Morris talked about familiarity, and familiarity is key with his coaching staff. So when you talk about veteran players, familiarity is going to be what they're going to be looking for when it comes to picking a free agent. Let's see. Trey says he take terrible angles on tackles. I say no, bring him back. Javon Kinlaw would be another good defensive tackle target. If y'all didn't see that on my channel, y'all can go check that video out as well. I think Javon Kinlaw, 6'5", 315 pounds, would be a good signing for Atlanta, and he may come cheap.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You have other options. Well, I mean, not Kinlaw. Don't put Kinlaw at the corner. But I'm just saying you have
No,
other
defensive
options
tackle. Yeah,
outside of Jaire. And I know Kinlaw. I honestly believe Kinlaw will eventually end up in Atlanta just because Ulbrich, like you were just saying, and like some of our listeners already know, familiarity is everything. They want to do things collaboratively. I think that we're going to end up with some of those old Jets, in Falcon uniforms, especially with us having so many free agents. DJ Reed, I do like him. Ken Law, I mean, he played well last year. Since Ulbrich was able to get something out of him. Bryce Huff, it's a possibility. Hey, maybe we do business like we did with Katavius Street with the Eagles. Remember, we traded for him. Maybe we do the same thing with Bryce Huff, who did absolutely nothing with the Eagles last year. But it was a loaded defensive line when you think about it too. And I'm just saying, who snaps is he taking? It ain't gonna be Walker. It ain't gonna be Davis. It ain't, So who snaps is he really taking? Josh Sweat even had a great year, so it was tough for Bryce Huff over there. Just you got options, man. It's options. It's gonna be very interesting, guys, to see which direction we go because we can still get some guys and not necessarily break the bank, but it's all about like the caliber, like y'all almost just like the weapon. What's the caliber of the player that we're going to get? So
right.
can't pronounce his name, but what
He
about
talking about Travarius Ward, probably.
Oh yeah, Travarius Ward. Yeah, Ward. I seen some. I know. I forgot who put it in the chat earlier, but it is an article about Tre'Davious Ward possibly can be going to the Falcons. Same thing that like you seen with Dre Greenlaw, somebody who I would love. I said if he was in a Falcon uniform. Also Nick Bolton. I would love for Nick Bolton. Zach Bond. That's another guy. All linebackers. I would love them
Right.
all in Falcon uniforms. So it's some options out here. The only problem is, it's in the salary cap, and then also another problem is other teams want to get better too. So it's gonna come
Absolutely.
down. It's gonna come down to money. You already know that, like it always does.
Yeah, and it really ain't no way around that. 'Cause, that's what the end of the day is. What the only thing that's gonna matter is the money. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But Jaire Alexander definitely to the Falcons. I would definitely love to see that. I still think he has a lot of tread left on his tires, even though he's been injured.
I
And
do too.
too, just change of scenery sometimes is good for a lot of people, man. Um, but Terry said Jerry Gray got demoted from head coach to his defensive back coach. Mars promoted the new defensive coordinator to be assistant head coach. That's possible, and I couldn't be mad at that because honestly, I don't think Jerry Gray wanted that position anyway. I
Not
think they should have
necessarily.
made Jerry Gray defensive coordinator from the jump because if you, like I said, if you paid attention to what's going on. When we went on that run with those 4 games, getting all those sacks, that was Jerry Gray. That's the way he called plays, disguise blitz, and all that good stuff. So yeah, I mean, it really don't matter because at the end of the day, um, I don't care who you promote to assistant head coach. Raheem Moore is gonna have an oversee everything anyway.
Hey man. Oh goodness, boy.
It's just a name. It's just a name.
Yeah, man. It
But
is, man.
Jonathan Bell, Kyle Pitts, it's a 50-50 shot, man. If somebody offered the Falcons the right compensation for Kyle Pitts, I think he's good as gone. And if y'all been following me,
Right.
the Fannin kid from Bowling Green, tight end, 6'3", about 245. Um, he's Antonio Gates in the making. And
Mm-hmm.
I think he comes in right away, running back type vision on the field, finds holes in the defense. Uh, Great run out to the catch tight end. I
Mm-hmm.
think he can come in and do what Kyle Pitts couldn't do. And yeah, I said it.
And be honest with you, when it comes to Kyle Pitts, I think
And he won't be a first round pick. He'll probably be a second round pick.
right. But also, I'm gonna tell you something else when it comes to Kyle Pitts. If let's say the Falcons, well, honestly, I don't think the Falcons really want to move on from Kyle Pitts. It's one of those things like you give me the right deal, we'll deal him. Like somebody was saying in the chat that Zach Klein had said, I suppose he was on 92.9, and he
Right.
was saying that if the Falcons get the right offer, they would trade Kyle Pitts. I do believe that, but I also
I believe
believe
it too.
But I also believe that what they were saying about Kirk Cousins really applies to Kyle Pitts. Like, I think they're cool with keeping Kyle Pitts because of the quarterback position. Like,
Yeah,
Michael Penix possibly could get the best out of
he's
Kyle.
already on. He already on vouch for him, so that's a
Right.
positive.
That's another thing as well, too. So it's just like you have those things going on and working for you. Michael Penix still believes in Kyle Pitts. I believe the Falcons organization still believe in him too. And again, I've always said if we move on from Kyle Pitts, you have to make sure you exhausted everything you could with him to get the best out of
Right.
him. So I believe that they really, I mean, if the right deal comes along, yeah, they'll trade him, but they're content with keeping Kyle Pitts. Now, I think it's just kind of like damage control, smoke and mirrors when it goes with Kirk Cousins. They know he cannot be in a Falcons uniform. Can you imagine training camp and he is still in a Falcon uniform? The fans ain't gonna let him have it, and it's gonna get to the point to where they'll probably cancel days just because they wouldn't want that media circus out there. Come on now. So yeah, maybe they want to
Man,
keep
they gonna
because he
trade
got
Kirk Cousins for a bag of ruffles.
I'm just saying, bro, it just looks bad on the organization. Now you can be spiteful and just say, look, man, you under contract, regardless of what you talking about. You are going to hold that clipboard and you are going to be the backup until or if we do decide to trade you, and you just going to be here. But at the same time, it's just like, do you want that kind of dismal space, in your locker room? It's a guy that doesn't want to be here and you're actually kind of like holding him hostage almost, but you're holding him hostage because, I mean, you've paid him all the money.
Right.
And if you don't show up, I'm gonna find you. Every time that you don't show up, I'm gonna have to find
Facts.
you. So it's just a lot, bro.
Mike said, I think trading Pitts for a defensive player and drafting a new young hungry tight end would be the best move. I
For
absolutely
both
agree with
parties.
that.
For
I
both parties.
absolutely agree with that 100%. But what team and what type player would you get for Kyle Pitts? There are defenders around the league that I think they could trade Kyle Pitts for, but how do other teams perceive Kyle Pitts and what do they feel like he's worth? That is probably the biggest question. Because who's out there? Throw out a name.
What are you talking about for tight ends?
Yeah, teams and what kind of
Who
defensive
you?
player you could get back.
I
Um,
mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. The first team I'm calling is the Cowboys to try to see if we can pry Michael Parsons for him for Kyle Pitts, a team that wanted Kyle Pitts anyway. It's on record that Jerry Jones loved Kyle Pitts and they wanted Kyle Pitts, but we took them. So I'm trying to see, do you still love Kyle Pitts? I'm just saying, I he's got to kick the tires, and with Michael Parsons, I would definitely make that trade. You would probably most likely have to send them. I'll send them Kyle Pitts in the 4th round for Michael Parsons if we can make that happen.
I throw another one out. Since he wanted him so bad, I traded him to Pittsburgh. Arthur Smith is in Pittsburgh. That could be an option. And Alex Highsmith, the veteran, if they don't want to pay him, I can see that as a move. Trust me, his moves out there to be made. You just got to find the right one. You just can't throw Kyle Pitts away and not get nothing in return. Because if that's the case, you just trade him for a draft pick. Trey Hendrickson, that's a crazy situation in Cincinnati, man. They say they want to keep all three with T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Trey Hendrickson, but we all know that it's not gonna happen. Because at the end of the day,
who gonna be the short end of the stick? Because Jamar gonna get the money, so we talking to T and Trey right now. Which one of y'all taking less money?
it better be Trey, because he's the veteran, he's been around the longest, and because T. Higgins still young. And honestly, if they let T. Higgins walk and have Jamar Chase up there by himself, it's gonna be a shit show. Let's just keep it real. Because you need the weapons. They still need running. They still need a running back. They still need a tight end. So you got to keep T. Higgins. You got to.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it would be interesting trying to see if you could trade Kyle Pitts to the Bengals, for Trey Hendrickson. I know they still got to try to pay him and see what they're going to do. Yes,
I'm not surprised, nephew. I'm not surprised he got cut.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, he's on the free agent market. No, I don't want to bring him in as a backup. But I
I
really
hate Desmond.
yeah, that's Smitty's thing right there. And yeah, Trey is 30 years old. Um, but honestly, do you think he has more in the tank than Matthew Judon? Yeah, I do. But again, I don't want to jump on Judon too bad because we did have him uh, doing the opposite of what his job is, which is to get to the quarterback. Like Matthew Judon, his coverage was a vomit show. I don't want to see that ever again. Like, come on now.
Right.
We brought him in to go after the quarterback. Yo, yo,
I
yo, shout
feel
out
it.
to the Dixon Way with the Dixon Raid.
Y'all go check out Larry and Shonda Dixon, man. Hey man, they rising fast, man. They're I think at 12, 13,000
Man, I love it for him.
subs now. So yeah, go check them out, man. They over there doing their thing. Larry and Shonda, man, great play by play. As they always say, if you don't want to hear them lame commentators on TV, turn them down and turn the dicks away up. Because I mean, look, they doing their thing, man. So shout out to them, and man, they've been supporting the sports machine and they've been supporting A1 forever for the longest, man. So y'all please go check them out and tell them Smitty and Chris sent you over there.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to tell you,
Shout out to
man.
my boy Breezy. Breezy, what's up, man? What's up?
What's going on? Yeah, man, they coming through, man. Shout out to the Dixon Way, man. Shout out to y'all and thank you for everybody for the Dixon Raid coming through, showing that
But man,
love,
look,
man.
this was a great discussion. That this was a great discussion, man. Me and Chris, we just come up with ideas, talk about it, and just throw it on camera because that's what we do. Um, don't forget to check out Berto too, man. Berto is on Bleacher Report every Wednesday at 6 p.m. He's putting out great draft coverage. He's putting out free agents. So y'all please check out Berto for the latest news on Bleacher Report for the Atlanta Falcons. He's doing his thing. So continue to support Mr. 95 North Berto. And he's over 4,000 subs as well. So Chris and Berto, they doing their thing, man. They growing, man. So
Just
look,
trying, man.
they doing their thing. So y'all support them just like I do. But yeah, this was a great discussion, man. So if y'all missed this live, please go back to the beginning, check it out. Because we give y'all things to think about, man. Kirk Cousins, $27.5 million backup. Jaire Alexander trade. Would you do it? I say yes. I say go for it. But before we
Yeah,
get out of here, man, tell everybody where to find you, Chris.
hey, man, A1 Forever Sports, that is the platform on YouTube. Please, if you haven't already, come over and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Plenty of content on A1 Forever Sports from shorts, videos, Falcons, Braves, Hawks, you know what I'm saying? And also you can catch me on the Hawks Digest as well. A new company, you know what I'm saying, new thing that we're doing over there. We're growing the channel, man. It's me and a guy named Walter Pollard, who actually used to work for 92.9 The Game, and we're over there growing the Hawks Digest channel, man. We're over 1,000 subs now on that channel as well. So, man, just getting around, moving around, different things in the background as well. Still working on a few things, still working on a few more opportunities. And still coming up with content, so when definitely not working or anything like that, because that's what it's all about, man, providing the people what they need. Also catch me on Twitter or at A1 Forever, Instagram A1 Forever, and I got my TikTok back, so I'm back on TikTok at the real A1 Forever, highlights and everything on there as well, man. Come on over.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. And y'all know where to catch me, man. Smitty Sports Machine. On YouTube, catch me on the NFC South Roundtable. Catch some of my videos over there as well, man. We're on hiatus for a while. We'll be back once free agency starts. And I will give y'all coverage over there as well as on my channel. I will continue to give you free agent targets, NFL draft prospects. And if y'all haven't checked it out, please check out my latest prospect for the Atlanta Falcons. And I think it come in right away and do some damage because that's what it's about, man. Making the right picks that fit the system and the scheme. And if they can do that, I think, it's very positive and up from there. But Harold Fannin from Bowling Green is my latest NFL draft profile, man. Please go check it out. If they decide to move on from Kyle Pitts, I think he comes in right away, makes an instant impact. because as I tell y'all, and it's a proven fact, a tight end is a quarterback's best friend. Just look at Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. Look at Phillip Rivers in San Diego when he had Antonio Gates. And those Kansas City Chiefs quarterback that got to play with Tony Gonzalez. Tight ends are a quarterback's best friend. Take it from your boy. But again, man, this has been an awesome episode, man, bringing y'all the Atlanta Falcons topics, discussions, and debates for my boy Chris, for my boy 95 North Berto. Y'all please check him out. Like I said, man, we gonna holler at y'all soon because it's time to get the chicken wings, and we out of here.
All right, peace.